following program was recorded at the annual SmartOps Forum held this year in Chicago. I'm pleased to welcome Editor-in-Chief of Supply Chain Brain, Russell Goodman.
Joining us for a conversation today on the interesting topic of Say Goodbye to Slob is Lora Cecere, industry analyst at Altimeter Group. Lora, welcome.
Thanks.
Lora, I have to say this is probably the most interestingly titled talk I've had in a long time.
We shouldn't have it boring, should we?
What are we talking about when we say slob? What does that stand for? What does that mean?
So it's a term in the process industry really focused on slow and obsolete inventory. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because it's waste in the supply chain, and it averages about 0.3% of revenue, but it's significant at that level.
Now, you say this is something that is common or it must be known to some extent in that industry. Why have I never heard about it before?
Well, because the process industry doesn't really want to focus on it that much, right? It's not very exciting. I mean, who wants to talk about the inventory they wrote off last year? Because it's really a signal of supply chains not working effectively. So slow, obsolete inventory is a good way to understand how effective is your supply chain. If you're not writing off much, then you're much more effective.
All right, well, let's talk about inventory optimization in terms of some solutions here. Tips that you might have, techniques that you might suggest. I'm sure many viewers are saying, I'd like to know what she's got to say that I can employ in trying to reduce or to get rid of the inventory.
Well, first of all, we've got to look at root cause analysis. Why do we have it? And most of the time it comes from a new product launch that does not meet expectations. And in that particular case, we really need to look at the rate of change of that new product launch and react very quickly through sales and operations planning processes. Secondly, we need a way that we can move it through the supply chain. So often, and the most effective technique I've seen, is to basically shape demand through sales and operations planning. So we identify it quickly and we get rid of it quickly, because the quicker we can get rid of it, the more we can maximize revenue. The third is that we have to really think about not just inventory levels, but the form and function of inventory, which, the form of inventory is either finished goods, semi-finished goods, or working capital associated with raw materials. And the form is important, but also the function of inventory. So safety stock, cycle stock, and also seasonal stock, and to be able to look at form and function of inventory and how they come together to have the right inventory levels and the right stuff when you need it.
When you look back over the last couple of years during the recession, when there's been so much accent on getting rid of inventory, does any company come to mind that you feel has done an excellent job in addressing this issue?
There are actually two. If you think back to the dot-com bubble when Cisco had to write off the large amount of inventory, Cisco got it quickly that they really needed to focus on the rate of change of the supply chain and put their finger on slow-moving inventory quickly and move it through the supply chain. Excellent job in the recession. I rate them as leaders. Now, the company that I rate as probably learning the most from the recession and dealing with slow and obsolete inventory is DuPont. And DuPont was actually speaking today. DuPont did not sense the downturn of the recession at the rate they would like to, but once they identified it, they really moved on managing the inventory and mobilizing. I don't think we'll catch DuPont in that kind of situation again.
Slow and obsolete inventory. Let's say goodbye to it. Lora, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Lora Cecere, Altimeter Group, speaking with us today about saying goodbye to slob. Thank you for watching.